What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast. It's your host, Jeremy, back with another episode. So this is a bit different. This is not usually how I do things and how I record, but I, I did a lot of thinking, and y'all know that I religiously explain time and time again that if I do take a break from this, it's always for good reasoning. I never like this is something that I love to do. This is never something that I'm just gonna say. Even though I am big on mental health, and I know that regardless of what you do and how well you do it and how much you love it and how hard you go about pursuing it, everybody needs a break at some point. Like we're all human at the end of the day. And so while I do emphasize taking those mental breaks, like if it's unprecedented, then obviously it's for a reason. So um as y'all can see, this is not the usual setup. um I am back home. So here's what happened. You know, I I like to look at myself as a pretty intelligent individual, but as us, you know what I'm saying, us humans um all do at times. We all have dumb moments, slow moments, and I had one. So y'all know the headphones that y'all usually see me come on here and record with. They're not on my head. Notice the mic. Um, the mic is good. It's just so I think we all know that when you have padded headphones, at a certain point in time they start to peel, um, and they just the wear and tear just kind of takes a toll of them. And that's what happened to mine. And so me not being knowledgeable and saying, okay, maybe let's just get different ear covers. I threw the entire headphones away. And it's been a month since I put out an episode, which means I've had a month to get a new pair. But it's like Christmas is right around the corner, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and treat myself um to some new headphones very very soon, to this next week or so. So when we restack the deck and reload um for 2026, then the first episode y'all will see of 2026, I'll have new headphones and everything, and make sure that I get ear covers instead of replacing new headphones. But hopefully these ones are more durable and will last me longer, so that I won't even have to worry about that for um a decent amount of time. But that's neither here nor there. But that's just to explain why I've been away. But I thought about it, and I was just like, we were on episode 54. This would be 55. In the event that no issues go on, because this is different. I could have figured out a way to do it with just the setup with no headphones. Um, but I figured this was the best way. 'Cause I felt like it was different. It's more personal in my opinion. It's a little more vulnerable. So it's just we'll see. But I felt like it was only right that I give one more episode. We ended up with 55 for the year. Because just leaving the year on episode 55 felt better to me as opposed to leaving out on episode 54. Even though episode 54 was a good episode, So y'all know, typically here and there I do something festive in the sense of having something or having an episode that is themed around whatever holiday or what might be going on at the time. And so, with me saying that, Christmas is in a couple days. This is like my Christmas gift to y'all. So Merry Christmas. Because I'm probably going to drop this on Christmas. That might be my goal. Drop this exactly on Christmas. It would be my Christmas gift from me and the Underestimated Podcast to y'all. So, I've done Halloween themed episodes. So, this is a Christmas one. So, the title is going to basically be saying something along the lines of what should be every NBA team's number one thing on their Christmas wish list for Christmas this year? So to the right of me on my phone, I have every NBA team, all 30 NBA teams, and I'm gonna go down the list and just off the like this is also unscripted, like unplanned, like I have nothing written down. I'm off the dome with it. I'm just gonna think, and I will go into my little editing here and there, but like this is not. I don't have the what I think they should wish for written down or like this is coming off the dome. But it's still going to be obviously knowledgeable and um, justified, of course. So obviously, first team being the Philadelphia 76ers. If I am the Philadelphia 76ers, the number one thing on my wish list is to just continue on, man. Continue on with the ongoing success that they have going right now, and just stay healthy. Like I think most of the NBA world and the sports world were convinced and optimistic that the Philadelphia 76ers were going to get back to prominence this season, me included. Like, I thought you draft BJ Edgecombe, you get Joel Embiid back, healthy. Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is an MVP candidate right now. Now, I watched Tyrese Maxey play in college. Like, I watched him back in Kentucky. I thought he was solid. Never did I think I was going to be saying at some point in time in his career that he was going to be a MVP candidate. But he is right now. He's averaging I think 30, 34 maybe. I think I just saw his stats like a day ago. I want to say he's averaging 34, 34 and a half points right now. And that's insane. Um, but you put the pieces together, right? Like you got Maxey and Joel Embiid is not 100% yet, but we know Joel Embiid at 40% still a killer. So you talk about Maxey, Embiid, VJ, Paul George is back and looking pretty solid. Kelly Oubre, Quinn Grimes, that team that team is gonna end up top four in the East, and even though New York and Detroit are the teams to beat in the East, they very well could come out of the East. Like just that Philly environment, that Philly home crowd, it could be something to reckon with. So I mean, like I said, if I'm them, I'm just looking for a continuation of what they've already been on. Don't I would say don't touch this roster in terms of trying to tweak it. Like I think you're good where you're at. I think you have all the pieces that you need. Obviously, you have a phenomenal coach in Nick Nurse. I think you got everything that you need if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. So that's just me. Um so next you have the Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, the number one thing on my wish list would to be let's actually figure out how we're going to resolve the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation. Are we going to trade him? Is he locked in to stay in Milwaukee? It's a very that situation is very unique and peculiar to me because it's Giannis. And sitting here as a Warriors fan, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I wouldn't want Giannis. What we're doing right now, and I get on us when we come because we'll be towards the end, of course, us being in the W's. Like, if we gotta make the money match, so we can get Kaminga and Pods and whatever else to stack the deck, and make the money match up and 3 first round picks to get Giannis. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Um. So yeah, if I'm the Bucks, let's get this resolved because the longer you wait to get the Giannis situation resolved, then the more stagnant you'll be because they're not improving, but the fact that you have Giannis means you won't be um, on a decline. And I mean, like they have some good things going right now. I think they're still a playoff team in the East. Kevin Porter Jr. is playing lights out, and since he's been back from injury, so and Miles Turner looks to be pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if the money that they paid Miles Turner, but granted, like this, like that's just the commodity of sports. Like you get paid when you're hot, you know. Like like sometimes when you're a household name, you still get paid, but like when you're like hot, he's coming off of a finals run and he played phenomenal. That got him his money. I don't know if he's going to be able to replicate that or, in a sense, heighten it. You know, so yeah, if I'm done, I get that resolved. Where do I think he should go? I mean, that I can make a whole episode on that. Like, I would want him with us, of course. It's been rumored that he was, prefers to go to New York, and I saw a segment on First Take the other day talking about it. And Stephen A. was like, "I will walk to Milwaukee to get him," and I understand that, but it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he also brought up the point about how years ago, when the Detroit Pistons, he had Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, a championship caliber team, and you go and you had a guy by the name of Adrian Dantley, and you go and trade him away to get, so it like those kind of things happen. It's just I think a lot of times when you trade, like when your team is already put together, and you go and trade for a star, it kind of just leaves you in the mindset of you just gonna have a weaker bench because like when you think about it, when we signed Kevin Durant, even though it wasn't a trade, um, our bench kind of got weaker because we didn't really have the money to allocate towards rotational pieces. Granted, guys just stepped up, and I mean, when Kevin Durant's on your roster, you don't have to do a whole bunch of stepping up. So, um, but yeah, that's it. If I'm Milwaukee, like I am getting this Giannis situation resolved as soon as possible. So the next team would be the Chicago Bulls. If I am the Chicago Bulls, what is the number one thing on my Christmas wish list? That's a tough one because the Bulls have been surprisingly good this season. Like I mean, yeah, we us sports fans and us NBA fans, us basketball fans, whatever, knew that going into the season that the Eastern Conference would be wide open, but nobody was expecting the Bulls to be in the mix though. And I had a friend, I had a very close friend of mine who's been a Bulls fan since a kid, and you know, he was saying like, yeah, like, but I'm just waiting for that to happen. Like, I just know at some point we're gonna plateau and it's gonna go downhill, and that's kind of where they're at right now. I think they currently are sitting. So the Bulls are currently 10th, which still puts them in the play-in now. They're at the bottom, which means they got to win two just to get in. But they look surprising. Like look at teams like Milwaukee. Milwaukee's out of the playoffs at the moment with Giannis. Milwaukee is 6 games under 500, so they got to figure this out. They got to figure this thing out. And so like if I'm the Bulls, I'm like I'm just I am wishing for something to continue to be prideful of, you know, because like Bulls are one of the most richest franchises in NBA history. Like the Bulls are just one of those franchises, you know. Jordan, like what else I gotta say? And so you want something to give the Chicago faithful something to be faithful of or faithful about. And so right now they look solid. Josh Giddey is playing some pretty spectacular basketball right now. And Modest Buzella seems to be on the come up. Kobe White doing Kobe White things. That team looks really good. I had this. I might have said it on here a couple of times too. And me and my friend get in this debate. I tell him, look, these are the best basketball players in the entire world. There are no bad teams in the NBA. Okay, yeah, a team goes 15-67. Sure. You can say what you want about the Washington Wizards. Give them 10 years. Like, a lot of teams just need time. Portland is not a bad team. For one, they're in the Wild Wild West. And two, they just need time. Scoot Henderson, Denny Abdia, um, uh, Tumani Kamara, like that team in a couple years, it's gonna be nice. Now they got to figure out what to do from a veteran standpoint, because I mean Jeremy Grant, I don't think he has much longer. Especially playing at a prominent level, but like you got to get him out of there at some point, and like what's your plans after? And I mean, depending on who they pick up in this draft, I mean, they should for sure go top five, which means you got a chance at getting AJ, got a chance at getting Darren Peterson, got a chance at getting Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson. You know, like they got a chance to put another good piece in there. And Donovan, oh, I forgot about Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan looks pretty solid as well. But we're not talking about them right now. Yeah, so I'm the Bulls. I'm just like I'm wishing to keep everyone in shock and kind of just keep uh, proving the haters wrong. That's pretty much my number one wish. The Cleveland Cavaliers. What is the number one wish for the Cleveland Cavaliers this Christmas? My wish, I would say it would have to be to take 2 steps ahead instead of 10 steps back. Because, um, like you look at how Cleveland's been the past couple of years, and some were in belief that Donovan Mitchell could be the pinnacle of bringing Cleveland to the championship. And I was of that belief too. Like they have everything that they need. You got a top 10 point guard in the league in Darius Garland. You basically have with the exception of DeAndre Hunter, you got a top 10 player in every starting position. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Um, so I mean, I think you probably need to go out and extend your bench, and the addition of Lonzo Ball. Now, if you look at the numbers, right, the numbers don't actually do justice. Like, actually sit and watch all 48 minutes of a Cleveland Cavalier basketball game, and watch the minutes that Lonzo Ball's out there. Like, I've been a Lonzo Ball fan since Chino Hills, so I love Lonzo Ball. And also, Tyrese Proctor got a start last night. Um, my Dookie. So I was pretty excited about that. But I think they'll be okay. This is just, I don't think this year is not going to be their year. Like, if you're looking for them to come out the East, it won't be this year. I think they can make a couple of moves to kind of extend your bench because I think that's where their problem persists. Like once Donovan and Darius come out, like they don't really have. And I mean, Lonzo can be but like Lonzo's pass first. Lonzo can get his, but he's pass first. Um, Tyrese Proctor, he gonna get his. He's not much of a passer. But I think it's not his time just yet. Like, I think he's a steal. Like for him to be, I think it was a second rounder, if I'm not mistaken. Um, which is a steal if you ask me. So yeah, like I think you gotta make a couple of pieces. Move a couple of guys around. Maybe you go get like a Trey Man from Charlotte or um maybe a Colin Sexton. Well, you had Colin Sexton already. You traded him, so I'm not gonna say Colin Sexton. Or maybe a Michael Porter Jr. from Brooklyn. Just you need some scoring when your main guys come out, and that's just the main thing. So that's it. If I'm Cleveland. Next team being the Boston Celtics. This is a pretty sticky situation because I kind of expected them to fall off a cliff with no Jason Tatum. But not just that, like Jason Tatum's, still working himself back from the Achilles. We have no more Kristaps Porzingis. You have no more Drew Holiday. Like that championship team that you built is, 60% gone, and you're still what? You're still top five in the East because Jalen Brown's playing out of his mind. Um, so I guess my wish would be to be in a spot that when my roster do somewhat comes back to life, that I'm not in a position to where I'm struggling. Because what you don't want to do is fall off a cliff and then be Jason Tatum dependent once he comes back. Even though there's a possibility that he might come back this season, I don't know. I mean, I get he's a competitor, and the way these guys are snapping back after these Achilles injuries, the past couple of seasons has been insane. Um, but I don't know if it's gonna be within his best interest to come back this season, which that is okay. Like get healthy, make sure you're healthy, and just come back swinging next season. Like if I'm them. So yeah, like if I'm them, I'm like I'm wishing that we get ourselves in a position, whether that be making moves or whatever, to still have relevancy once we get Jason Tatum back. Because I mean, Jalen Brown's killing. Derek White's killing. Peyton Pritchard's killing. So JT gonna do JT things when he comes back. So next is the Los Angeles Clippers. If I am the Los Angeles Clippers, my number one wish is to just undergo a successful rebuild. That organization is in shambles, and it's not something you would ideally be saying from a typical standpoint because you have a roster that consists of James Harden and Kawhi Leonard and a top 15, 20 coach of all time in Tyronn Lue. But that team it's horrible. And you cut Chris Paul, who wants to do, what most guys, most I don't want to say journeymen, but journeymen do, they want to come back to where it all started before they end it all. And that sounded very anyway, but you want to come back to where you started before you retire. And that's all he was doing. And him and Tyloo butt heads, didn't speak for weeks, and ultimately ultimately resulted in Chris Paul being sent home for the season. Still looking to play though. He still wants to play this season. Where that will be, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, who couldn't use Chris Paul? Like, Chris Paul makes every team that he's been on better than what they were before they got him. So, uh, I don't know. But I mean, honestly, I thought he was just gonna. I didn't think he was still gonna be willing to play after he got cut. I thought he was just gonna go ahead and just shut it down for the season and just go ahead and like actually retire. But he still wants to play. Respect. Yeah, like I just want to undergo like do what you gotta do to get Kawhi out of there. Um, Send Harden where he may be. You got you. It sounds crazy, but you might have to put yourself in a position where you are building around Zubac. Or, I mean, I think as you get good value out of him, you trade him too. Like I would love, like honestly, send the Warriors Zubac. We'll throw you Paz and Kaminga. I think that'd be beautiful for them. I think that's pretty solid for them. Get two young guys. I mean, Talu's not the developmental. You know, he's more so grab the best and make something work. But I think that's a pretty solid deal. Like we get our center, which is something that we've that's a spot that we've struggled in the past couple of years. Even though I think QP is it's on the come up, it's just not. The guys that we had, we was winning championships. Like he's not Looney, he's not Andrew Bogut, it's not David Lee. Like he's QP. Um, but man, if we had Zubac, that would be great. Like I think that's a pretty good trade if you ask me. I don't know if the money would match up, but I believe it just might. We send Kaminga and Pods, we get Zubac. I think that's a pretty good way in the event that you go ahead and ship out James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. That's the perfect way in my mind. Also, me being a Warriors fan and being biased in that regard to end off the rebuild. The Memphis Grizzlies. Kind of, piggybacking off of what I was saying minutes ago about the honest thing, I'm getting this John Morant thing um, situated. It's either do the sensible thing and don't trade John Morant, or get some help for John Morant. I don't understand the Desmond Bain trade from the Memphis side. I don't understand why they. I don't know. Maybe it was because they didn't want to pay him. But like you got Jaren, you got DPOY and Jaren, you got top 10 point guard in the league when healthy and John Morant. Like you gotta just get Ja back healthy, and I think you'll be okay. Like they gotta get some help. Like outside of and their rookie Cedric Coward looks pretty solid. So like that's great. Jalen Wells looks solid. Scottie Pippen Jr. looks solid. You got the pieces. You gotta get Ja some help and also figure out if Ja's gonna be there to stay. I get what they say, and a lot of people look at Ja Morant as the next Allen Iverson, so to speak. I don't care what. I don't care how many grenades Ja throws or how many times he's posted up with a weapon or whatever on live saying XYZ. I'm not trading Ja Morant. Now, granted, it looks like a divorce waiting to happen because he doesn't seem happy. Like I'm looking at, I was even in disgust watching some of the interviews he was making and just how smart he was being at the mouth talking to those reporters. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Where could he go? I mean, you got Toronto, you got Boston, you got Milwaukee, got the Clippers. Move Harden over to the two, which I believe he's better off at. Um, yeah, like all those things can happen. So yeah, like if I'm Memphis, my wish is to get this John Morant thing under control for the foreseeable future. The Atlanta Hawks. I like the Hawks right now. Jalen Johnson, once again, another Duke Blue Devil, is playing at an All Star level right now. I think they get Trae Young back tonight. I want to say today is the 20th. I think they get Trae Young back tonight, either against the Magic or the Knicks. But yeah, like they look really good. They look really good, and I think they're gonna be really good for a long time. Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Ricochet, Big O, Jalen Johnson. That team looks solid. I really like what they got going. So my number one wish for them is to hopefully find that third option. I'd say. So I think you got your number one guy in Trae Young, a solid number two in Jalen Johnson. Go find that. Go find that third guy. Maybe a Michael Porter Jr. Maybe a Cam Thomas. Maybe like a Keontae George out of Utah. Even though I know the way he's playing right now, they probably won't touch him. Like they're probably not gonna let him go. But yeah, like if I'm trying to go find that third guy to go ahead and kind of just take off. The Miami Heat. What is the number one wish for the Miami Heat? Hmm. Okay, if I am the Miami Heat, I would say that my number one wish this Christmas would be to re-identify my my organization, because the Miami Heat that we have grown to know and love over the past 20 years or so, my lifespan, um, is in, and it ain't the players. You got Bam, got Tyler Hero. Maybe that's a spot for Chris Paul, Miami, under Pat Riley. I mean, obviously he's the owner, but I mean, we know Pat being in practices, you know, and he coached, so like he's just a coach now an owner, or former coach now owner, championship coach at that. So yeah, like re-identify yourselves. Like maybe go out and find your guy. Maybe go out and go get Giannis. Like go find your guy. Like I don't think Bam and Tyler Hero are solid second and third options, but I don't think either of them are the guy. Go find your guy. That's me if I'm Miami. The Charlotte Hornets. If I'm the Charlotte Hornets, I am gonna say that my number one wish this Christmas would probably be hoping and praying that if I do double down on keeping LaMelo Ball, that time runs its course in a successful manner. I think another one of those things that I say just give him time. Like you got LaMelo, you got Trey Man, you got Miles Bridges, you have Con Knipple, who looks, like I said, another Dookie. Those Duke boys, I'm trying to tell y'all, if he comes from Duke, he's that guy. He's just one of those guys. Um, so when you look at it like that, I think Lamelo is the guy for them. He is the guy for them. It's just about surrounding him with the right pieces. Let go of Mark Williams, which I wasn't a big fan of. So you kind of got to go figure out what you're gonna do there. But I mean, you look at it in hindsight, another Duke guy you can go out and get Cam Boozer. I don't know if they're gonna be. So right now they sit at number 12 in the East, which means they would be. I mean, they're gonna be in the lottery. I just don't know how high up. I don't know if that's top five worthy or not. But yeah, like ideally, kind of just have to hope for the best and see if maybe they're in Campbell's sweepstakes, you know, or even dude from Michigan. I don't know how to say his last name. Yaxel, or it might just be pronounced as Axel. Axel Lindenborg, dude from Michigan that's killing in the, you know, basically the main reason why they're the number one team in the country right now. Number one, Duke, obviously it's number one, but yeah, well, yeah. Um, so yeah, that's my take on the Hornets. The Utah Jazz. I would say another thing, kind of almost like placing the what I said about Milwaukee and Charlotte into one. If Lauri Markkinen is going to be your guy, which I don't know if Lauri Markkinen. I can't sit here and say with 1,000% confidence that I believe that Lauri Markkinen can be the number one scoring option on a championship contending team. Maybe two or three. I would have loved for him to be in Golden State. I don't know. It was about to happen. Draymond Green ultimately told front office, "No, we're gonna give up too much to get him." Which I don't know what it was, but if it wasn't Curry, Jimmy, GP2, QP, Moody, Buddy, anybody in that group, I was doing it. If it was for Pods and Kaminga, ship him off. Like, yeah, let's do that. Um, so yeah, like I'm figuring out if Laurie is the guy. Let's build around Laurie, and I think they got some solid pieces around him. They have a log jam at the forward spot, but they got some guys. Keontae, Laurie, Walker Kessler looks solid. Gonna shout out another Dookie once again, Kyle Filipowski. Um, I think if he can continue to go on an upscale, he's gonna be solid for them. So yeah, maybe I would say probably go find another guard as well to put alongside Keontae. I think right now they got him as the locked in PG. Which if Walter Clayton, yeah. Oh, and Ace Bailey. Um, yeah. If Walter Clayton can develop to about 65% of the player that he was in college, him and Keontae, get Keontae off the ball. Because I think I got somewhat of a belief in Walter Clayton's playmaking ability, and I mean, if he could shoot the way he shot in college, in the NBA, I mean, yeah, he'll be pretty tough. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what's the long term plan with Lauri Markkinen. If we're keeping him, what are we doing to maximize his prime? If we're not keeping him, what are we doing to long term look ourselves in the mirror 10 years and say, okay, we gave up this for Lauri Markkinen and we're happy where we're at, type thing. Sacramento Kings. I honestly don't even know. Like, you got DeRozan, you got Zach Levine, you got Sabonis. My number one wish is to put the right pieces around Domantas Sabonis. Yeah, I mean, I think for them, he is the guy. And then again, you trade De'Aaron Fox, and it's like you don't have that point guard anymore because nobody can sit here and convince me that Malik Monk is a point guard. And y'all should know by now how I feel about point guards in the NBA. Like this new thing of point guards, and this is coming from a Curry fan. Like this new thing of point guards are just it pains me truly because you know the point guards that I grew up watching and Curry and Russ, CP, Derrick Rose, Rondo, even when Rondo, was on the tail end, uh, Isaiah Thomas. I got to see Steve Nash on the tail end of his career, Jason Kidd on the tail end of his career, John Wall. Like just the good old days, the good old days. Um, but yeah, like I gotta figure that out. Like, what am I doing to maximize this all-star caliber talent of a window with the Domantas Sabonis if I'm the Sacramento Kings? The New York Knicks. My number one wish would be to kind of be greedy. Like you've won the NBA Cup championship. Go win the big one. Go win the one that we all strive to get, which is the NBA championship. It's the it's the Larry B. Go get the Larry O'Brien trophy. Will they? I don't know. I don't know. OKC, like I'm a firm believer in, you're the champ till you're knocked off. Now what San Antonio did to them, which like I predicted it to happen, I thought it was gonna happen, and it did. Yeah, it's like it's this is the NBA. This is sports. Any given night, if you're just on that in that like that moment, you can beat anybody. But can you do it 4 times out of seven? That's gonna be the big question. If you can't do it 4 times out of seven, then that one game that you won back in the regular season is useless. It is no longer um of any meaning. So yeah, if I'm the Knicks, my number one wish is to double down in terms of championships and what I've already done this season. The Lakers. My number one wish is to have some sort of continued achievement or achievements to double down on the narrative that I won the Luka Doncic trade. It's I mean it's pretty much Lakers by a mile now with the fact that AD can't get on the floor right now and is probably looking to get traded again. Um, yeah, Luka's MVP candidate right now. Like we're not even paying Braun no mind right now. Like this is Luka's team. Like this is Luka's team, and the Lakers look. They got to give him some help. I will admit that. Like Luka is carrying, but we're gonna see how will he really condition himself to see how long that this load can prolong itself. Will it last for 40 games, 45, 60? Like, we'll see. The Orlando Magic. That's a tough one because the Orlando Magic sit at the currently they are the sixth seed in the Eastern Conference, and they got a solid squad. Talk about Jalen Suggs, one of my favorite guys in the league. Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., and Desmond Bain. That's a pretty solid lineup. Like that's a lineup I think could take New York in seven. They took Cleveland um to a pretty deep extent last year that I didn't expect. I remember I was sitting um at my aunt's house and I was watching the game and it was like game three I want to say, and they were in Cleveland. I was like, wow, the Magic are really taking it to the Cavaliers, and I think they can do the same thing again. So I guess my wish would be to see some sort of instant evolvement in my younger guys off the bench or to make the necessary moves and adjustments to get myself a solid bench. Because you got guys like Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black, um, Mo Wagner. He's more of the vet now. Um, you got guys like that, and it's like you really need like a solid 10 man to at least get you into the playoffs. But because you get into the playoffs, that rotation it shrinkens. Because by the time you touch the finals, you're probably playing one player off the bench. But you got to have those four or 3 to 5 guys to get you to that point, and they just don't really have that right now. I've been seeing this whole Paulo Banchero doesn't look the same this season thing. I'm not I'm I'm not buying it. Still averaging 28 and 4, shooting 45% from the field. Like I'm not buying that whatsoever. I don't know what. Yeah, that's stupidity. Dallas Mavericks. My number one wish is to figure this thing out, man. Like my number one wish would be answer all the questions. What are we doing with AD? When are we getting Kyrie back? Cooper Flag looks phenomenal. And now I'm hearing stuff about Klay Thompson, which is, as a Warriors fan, I sit back and I laugh because you left us for this crap. Um, I mean, Megan Thee Stallion came out of it, so props to Captain Clay on that. But outside, no, but outside of that, like his tenure thus far in Dallas has been a nightmare. And I mean, if he wants to come back, I would welcome Clay back with open arms. I think he would be different, you know, in our system as opposed to this high powered, fast, high octane offense that is ran in Dallas with a bunch of young legs. So yeah, like I'm figuring all of that out. I'm answering all those questions. All of my vets, I'm getting all those veteran questions answered. Brooklyn Nets. If I am the Brooklyn Nets, my number one wish is to hope that I find a long term counterpart for Cam Thomas in this year's draft. Whether it's AJ DeBonsta, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, Linda Borg, Caleb Wilson, whoever. Um, that is my thing. I don't think him and Michael Porter Jr. is going to be a long term marriage for them. I don't even understand why they shipped him there. Denver, that is. And they're hooping, but it's just and I mean they have a plethora of young guys that are just like Igor Demon looks solid. I think he could be their long term like point guard, but I think he's gonna need like at least 3 more years though, at least 3 more years before he can fully command that starting PG role. Denver Nuggets, man. Hmm. If I'm the Denver Nuggets, what is my number one wish? Hmm. I'm wishing that I am successfully able to do what I have to do to maximize what could potentially be the tail end of Nikola Jokic's prime. Because I mean, right now they sit at the number two seed in the West, right behind OKC. They're 5 games behind OKC at 20-6, and Jokic is doing Jokic stuff. I mean, he's averaging a triple double, so I mean they'll be fine. I think they'll more than likely be in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know that it's going to be interesting because I think it could be them, it could be Minnesota, it can be OKC, it can be San Antonio, it can be Golden State. Hopefully, when we figure this thing out, um, yeah, it's like I'm just wishing to stay relevant. Another thing where I could say like the whole taking 2 steps ahead instead of 10 back. That's just kind of how I'm looking at it. Indiana Pacers. I am wishing that time goes into X. Goes 2 times faster to get Tyrese Halliburton back because they look horrendous with Siakam as the number one guy. Yeah, they look horrendous. But I think once he gets back, they'll be right back to the Indiana Pacers that we saw last season. Maybe not back in the NBA Finals, but like they'll be at least in the second round next year for sure. The New Orleans Pelicans. Hmm. I don't know. I guess I haven't gone this route. Find the actual leadership from a coaching perspective to actually get Zion Williamson locked in. Like he's not healthy, but I think he is the guy. Like I saw a post on TikTok a couple of days ago saying that we're not ready for the conversation of Zion Williamson being a top 10 player um, if he never gets injured, if he just remains healthy. And I think that's pretty solid. Like I think they have a pretty solid team. Like they traded Brandon Ingram, and they still look pretty nice. Jeremiah Fears looks good. Jordan Poole, my guy. Jordan Poole looks solid. Um, Trey Murphy, who I hope the Warriors do end up getting. Trey Murphy looks solid. Derek Queen looks like he's gonna be a problem. Like he's already a problem, but he's gonna be a problem for it. Looks like a very long time. Yves Messi. Um, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins. It's been a bit of a disappointment, but yeah, like I'm figuring out like this whole Zion thing. Like I got to get a coach in that's gonna really lock this team in because I think they can be really really good. I think right now they sit at. So right now they sit at. Wow, they are 6-22. That team has no business being 6-22, even in the Wild Wild West. The Portland Trailblazers are a playing team right now. It's the 10th spot. But you mean to tell me that New Orleans does have a better roster than Portland right now? Like, come on, like, let's be real with ourselves. Detroit. Um, my number one wish would be to hope that what is happening is not a fluke because they are what the number two seed in the East. They're number one. Okay, they're two games above New York, and Cade is playing MVP level basketball. Like I knew Cade was the truth when he came out for the draft, but they look really good. Like they could be Detroit. Hot take, maybe, maybe not. Detroit might come out of the East. Like yeah, New York looks, uh, you know, spectacular right now too. Detroit might come out of the East. Detroit might be Eastern Conference champions. It was just something they haven't been able to say in like 10 years since Billups and Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace. Yeah, Detroit might come out of the East. I was watching them play Boston. It was against Boston the other night on Peacock. Yeah, I think it was Peacock. And Cade was being guarded by Derek White, and it's one of his favorite moves that tween left to right. Has he stepped back mid range free throw line? Oh my god, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And like the scary thing with these point guards now is that their scoring is disguising what they can do from a playmaking standpoint. Like Cade is a 30 and 10 kind of dude. But the way he's gonna get his 30 is gonna always just disguise the 10 that he's gonna get. And it's that's just Detroit looks good. So yeah, my thing is hope this is not a fluke and they can like they're actually on the road to being Detroit basketball once again. The Toronto Raptors. Sit at the third seed right now. I'm gonna say yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. Just hope that it's not a fluke. That team looks really good. RJ, Bi, two Dookies right there. Grady Dick, Emmanuel quickly, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Pertl. That team looks pretty solid. I would say go find yourself, even though Jamal Shead looks decent. I would say go find your guard, go find your guy. Um, if you can, go and get John Morant. Um, Maybe go out and get Chris Paul. Melo Ball, if the Hornets are going for it. Like, I think they can find their way into getting there for sure. Get your next Kyle Lowry, if that makes sense. Um, Even though I'm not, RJ Barrett lost me when he was at Duke. Like, RJ Barrett made me cry as like a 16-year-old, 15-year-old. Because that Michigan State game in the Final Four just, let's not even talk about it. But yeah, that's why I'm so iffy on RJ. But Outside of that, like they look solid. They look solid. Houston. My wish is to probably just keep things afloat and be smart. They look good right now. They are the fifth seed in the West. Yeah, just kind of keep things afloat for when Fred VanVleet gets back. Katie's doing Katie things. Amin Thompson's doing Amin Thompson things. Sengun looks great. Um, yeah, I would like I said, be smart because they are really got a very big lineup, and of course, like they have a lineup that's not only big but big and skilled, but also make sure like that is the smart thing to do. Like we just don't want to throw out a bunch of 6'10" guys just to be bigger than everyone else if it's gonna be a detriment to us in other areas. Let's just make sure we're being smart and doing. But I mean, I trust Udoka and his basketball mindset. Like I think he's doing what's within the best interest of that team, and they'll they'll be fine. The San Antonio Spurs. I wish that not only we maximize Wimby's potential, but don't do anything to jeopardize the narrative of Dylan Harper being a bad pick. Because I was the biggest hater, if you want to call me it, when Dylan Harper got drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. I was not in favor of that at all. I get it, like it sets you up for a beautiful guard tandem, you know, down the road. Talk about De'Aaron, Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper, and I guess you would say what Keldon Johnson, or is he classified as a forward? Anyway, you slice the cake though. Like, yeah, it sets you up real nice, and he looks really good. Like outside of Cooper Flag, like he's probably rookie of the year. But I don't know if they're gonna like are they looking to trade De'Aaron again? Like I don't know what the mindset is of the people in San Antonio. But yeah, like I just I wasn't in favor of it. I don't remember who. I think I had them taking Ace Bailey in my mock draft. Yeah, because I had him going to Philly. And I was like, yeah, if you're gonna do the whole have a just beautiful guard rotation, send him to Philly, not San Antonio. But it looks like it's working out. Um, from a coaching standpoint, now parts of my wish would be that too. That's I think that's where we're gonna go. My wish is to find a coach that can give me long term success like Popovich did. Yeah. Phoenix Suns. I wish to get Devin Booker some help. Phoenix Suns, I mean, they just beat us a couple of nights ago. They sit at 15-12. Get them some help. Dylan Brooks, Malawach, who's not even getting any really playing time, which is crazy. Trade up to 10 to draft him, and you don't even utilize him. Even as a backup, though, like you're not even utilizing the guy. Um, Colin Gillespie looks surprisingly solid. But yeah, like get him some help. And that's what you got is somehow getting you by right now, but it's not long term. And if I'm Book, I'm being very adamant in that front office about it, for sure. OKC Thunder. My wish is to just not to overdo things. Like they have all their ducks in a row to ideally and logically set them up for 10 plus seasons. But let's not mess that up. Like, let's not do anything to jeopardize that. If I'm them, I don't really get. I'm not gonna sit there and like talk much about OKC because OKC, they're defending NBA champions. The Minnesota Timberwolves. My number one wish is to find a to find two actual building blocks surrounding Anthony Edwards. I just don't think Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle is what's gonna be like. Nah, I've been saying I was so mad. I think I made an episode about it. Why? I get it. Rudy Gobert is what, 4-time DPOY? Cool. There's no way in the world, and maybe that's just why I'm not in the NBA front office. Whatever. There's no way in the world I'm trading Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle instead of Rudy Gobert. I would have much rather have had a, you know, Ant Julius Cat tandem than Ant Julius and Rudy. I'm not in favor of that at all. But it's somewhat working. I mean, even in the Western Conference Finals last season, got a shot to make it back there this year if Ant continues to be Ant. But I think he got to be at another level for this team to really. He got to really go off, you know. But I mean, like, if we're looking at him as like the next Jordan, Jordan had Pippen, and he had Rodman, and he had those guys to elevate to all-star caliber people to get those rings. So I mean, if you look at it like that, that gives me hope and optimism that Ant can do that for them. I think he can. But it's gonna be a very hard task to do, especially with the widespread of talent that this league has. Like, not only do you have to push them up to that level, but you have to elevate them to push them over OKC and Houston and San Antonio. So we'll see. Golden State Warriors. My wish is to get Steph Curry some help. This is ridiculous. This is hard to watch. Um, like Steph is dropping 50 and we're still losing, and then we got games where Steph is dropping 15 and Jimmy's dropping 30 and we're still losing. Like, we got to get him some help. That's all there is to it. I don't even want. I should dive into it because I'm a fan and like I should be able to, Like, not saying that I can't, but I just don't wanna. Like, the fact that we're playing as bad, we're still a playing team is pretty insane. I think I have to be optimistic as a fan, thinking that we will turn this thing around. But it's a very hard thing to watch right now. But I mean, hey, I'm always of the mindset of as long as 30's on our team and he's healthy and he's on that floor, I'm good. I got us against anyone. But we got to get him some help because what happens when he's not on that floor and when he's not, like, we can't become dependent on him at this age to say, because I mean, like, you look at it, you give him, like, he gives us 50, we still don't win the game. That's unacceptable. Because we cannot depend on him to do that every single night and also have it, result in wins as well. Like, those two things is not going to be a long-term recipe for success. And last but not least, the Washington Wizards. I could say find out who your guy is. That could be a thing. There's so many routes you can go with the Washington Wizards. I'm just gonna say I hope that time does as well. That's my number one wish. I hope that time does as well. But like, yes, I don't even know who their guy is. Like, they don't have their guy. They don't have their coach. I don't believe they're just a bunch of question marks, and for them to be the nation's capital, like in terms of pro basketball, like they're the nation's capital of pro basketball. It looks bad. It looks really bad. But I mean, hey, like, all right, my number one wish, random thought now, is to dig like dig deep and figure out whatever it is that is gonna take us back to the John Wall Bradley Beal days. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking from now. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for me. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is different. How about that? This is kind of cool. Chilling in the random room in my house and got the Mac set up. Hope the audio's solid. I'm gonna, got to do my little editorial things to make sure that it is pretty decent for y'all. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. This was a bit different. Um, but yeah, always remember, don't underestimate, appreciate.